right, brand new this half hour. We are getting you ready for back to school.
We sure are. First bell rings for students in Henderson County next Monday, August 12th. Time flies, right? Well, Mark Garett, Superintendent of Henderson County Public Schools, is joining us live in the studio. Mark, thank you for being with us. Appreciate this basket. We're going to look at what's in there in just a moment.
That's right.
First, we got some questions for you. What can parents do to make sure they start their kids off for the most productive, safe, happy school year possible?
Well, you know, one of the first things is just be excited about the school year and talk up just all the opportunities you have when you go to school. Always getting a good routine, nighttime routine, morning routine. Grab that breakfast going out. If you don't have breakfast at home, we're offering universal breakfast to all of our kids this year at no cost to families. And, you know, just those good routines and good habits that you want all the time.
Yeah, it makes me think like nutrition is a big part of this.
It is. It is. Nutrition, sleep, rest, screen time, lessen that as much as you can. You know, what we find with our kids that get good rest and just really have those great routines, show up and they're ready to go.
So 111 yellow school buses traveling over 6,600 miles every day. We've been, you know, used to the summer driving, but school zones now back in effect. Talk a little bit about that.
They are, you know, and good thing that they're yellow and they're easy to see, but sometimes you would be very surprised at the incidents our buses get in sometimes. So we just really remind folks around those school zones, especially the first week or so, it's going to be frustrating, it's going to be crowded, everybody's getting back in that routine. Those of you who are working and have been coming to and traveling without school buses on the road, that changes in about a week. And just really, again, think about those safety measures and those things that are out there for our kids.
Yeah, when you see that stop sign pop out from that school bus, you want to, you know, stop.
Oh, it's not a suggestion, absolutely. Yes. It's a state law. It's a lot of points on your license, but the main thing is just help us keep our kids safe. It's really amazing when you think about a school district. People think about your teachers and they think about the classroom, which is obviously the most important thing day to day, but it's a big business because we, you know, we've got like 2.5 million square feet that we take care of, 600 and something acres, 111 school buses, 30 activity buses that are taking our athletic teams and field trips. So it's just a really big mechanism. You
know, and we both been teachers. Katie's a mom. Keeping those kids safe is a giant responsibility.
Well, that is number one. Our district is very proud to have the partnership with our Henderson County Sheriff's Office and then our Hendersonville Police Department. We have SROs in every building. We put secure entrances. We make you show us your license when you come in. So just a lot of those things that we're trying to be proactive.
All right, quick look here. You got us some gifts here. What are we looking at?
Well, all of our schools wanted to contribute and make sure that when you all are roaming around the station and around the community that you see those Henderson County Public Schools displayed. So we've got a myriad of water bottles and lanyards and hats. All of them just wanted to make sure that you all were well taken care of.
Well, this is great. You know what? And it's also a reminder to parents, get out there, celebrate your school.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, a lot of pride in Henderson County Public Schools. Very well earned and very well deserved. It's a community partnership, and we love to see those colors out in our community.
All right. Well, thank you for the work you do.
Yeah, and good luck for the beginning of the school year, right?
Oh, it's coming, but there's nothing like the first day of school. I say it every year. It's the most exciting day.
It is exciting. All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Brand new this half hour, we're getting you ready for back to school. And looking ahead, Jackson County Schools heads back on Wednesday, just a couple days from now. You ready?
That is correct. Yes.
On that note, Dr. Dana Aers, Superintendent of Jackson County Public Schools, is joining us now live in the studio. Dr. Aers, thank you so much for being here with us today. First up, this year you're doing something different when it comes to meals. Tell us about it.
We're excited that our community in Jackson County recognizes the need for free meals for all students. So after some advocating for our students and our families in Jackson County, we were able to have the vote of our Board of Commissioners in Jackson County, and all students in JCPS and the lab school will eat free of charge. So we call it a no-cost meal this year, so every breakfast and every lunch will be available to students at no cost.
So nutrition is front and center.
Absolutely. There is definitely research that shows that students who have adequate school nutrition and meals are going to perform better in the classroom, and we're excited about that.
And you're also not separating kids between those who maybe need the meals.
Those who qualify for free lunch, and not that stigma has now been removed. So we typically serve in a single day about 4,500 meals, and that's with our breakfast and lunch. And we anticipate that that's going to increase, likely 10%, because everybody has this access now.
All right, feeding kids. The other important thing to a lot of parents is when you send your kids off, you put them on that bus, you want to make sure they're safe.
Of course, we do.
What in terms of safety, security, what's front and center for you this year?
Always, first of all, transporting. We want to make sure that they get there safely. Our bus drivers are typically the first face that students see. And I would caution folks to make sure that you're following the guidelines for school bus safety. If you see flashing lights, don't pass. Make sure that our kiddos get there safely.
Yeah, right. And if that bus stops and that little red sign goes out, I mean, there might be a kid coming around the other side, right?
You should stop when you see the flashing lights before the sign even comes out.
All right, tips for parents. You're getting ready after a whole summer of downtime. What is your advice for parents to get up and going for the school year?
Get up and going. So we welcome students on Wednesday morning. Probably the most important piece of that is to be at school on time and every day. Our parents have an obligation and a duty to support their students, so I encourage those parents to communicate with schools and with their teachers directly, but also please have your students there on time every day, because that absence also impacts other students when the teacher has to work to catch them up in the following days.
Right, and in addition, you're also teaching your kid it's important to be on time.
It is important to be on time. And I know that our littles, that is beyond their control,
right.
But I'd encourage families to make sure that students are on time every day.
Well, lastly here, students themselves, they need to have something, they need to pack something themselves. I'm talking more than their book bag. It may have to do with their attitude, right?
Right. Definitely walk in with a positive attitude. A lot of changes have happened in Jackson County Public Schools just over the nearly 12 weeks for summer, and we're hoping that students will see really positive things happening, but they need to be engaged and they need to be committed to that also.
Yeah, well, great news. Also, what do you have here in the basket?
Just some goodies that highlights our district. So these are just some throws, Jackson County Public Schools.
We love it.
And then some cups with a few supplies inside.
You know what's so great about this? Parents, students, you know, enjoy your school swag. Put it on, carry it, use it.
Absolutely.
Show some pride, right?
Absolutely.
All right.
One other thing, if I have a moment to mention, is our newly formed Jackson County Public Schools Ed Foundation. And this is an advocacy group that's going to support students when state funds are not available. So they're going to stand in the gap for one-to-one grants for teachers and offerings for students who may need that financial support. So I'd encourage you to donate to the JCPS Ed Foundation.
That's good to know. Dr. Dana Aers, thank you so much for joining us.
Absolutely.
And brand new this half hour, we're getting you ready for back to school. Looking ahead, Asheville City Schools heads back on August 26. Dr. Maggie Ferman is here now, Superintendent of Asheville City Schools, live in our studio. Dr. Ferman, first of all, thank you for being here. Really appreciate it.
Glad to be here.
Let me start off with the local merger. And what I mean by that is Asheville Middle School and the North Star Academy. How's that going?
Yeah, so the board decided last year after an investigation, not really an investigation, but a study to see would it be beneficial for those two middle schools to come together into one. So we did take some time, we examined data, we looked at what was happening with the schools, and the board did determine that it would be the best decision to take those two middle schools and merge them into one.
And that's not an easy thing to do, but it's happening right now.
It's pretty much done. So we worked very hard at the end of the school year and over the summer to put some committees together, and they did such an amazing job looking at what needed to happen to make sure that this consolidation was successful.
And maintain community.
And maintain community, and it's been amazing.
Well, speaking of mergers, the big merger everyone is talking about is the possibility of a merger between Asheville City Schools and Buncombe County Schools. What is the status of that study?
So right now it's still in the data collection phase. So we've submitted over 250 pieces of data to the company that's doing the study, and then they're starting to begin their community engagement cycle. So they've got community meetings, opportunities for the community to come together and share their perspective of both school systems and potentially what they think would happen if the two systems would merge.
Well, of course, some are looking for efficiencies like economic efficiencies, but parents are also looking for something else. They want close contact with the school system, so this is not an easy one to balance.
Yeah, and that's one of the things I love about Asheville City Schools is it's a small school system. We have just about 4,000 students, just about 670 staff members, and I get to know every staff member by name, by face. I know who I'm seeing, who I'm talking to, as well as our families, so we really have that family feel.
Last year, there were issues about staffing, school bus drivers, teachers. there were a lot of empty positions. What's the status this year?
We are almost nearly staffed. So we have a couple positions that we're still looking to fill, but thankfully we have amazing teachers. We held our new teacher orientation last week, and we have great teachers in our classrooms getting ready to start on the 26th.
Well, you know what, there are parents who are watching right now. Do you have any pointers for them to get their kids ready to start out the school year right?
Check out their school's webpage, make sure they know what the school supply list is, make sure they are looking at their portals to see who their teachers are, and just watch the school website. Lots of updates on our school web pages. Check our social media pages for just last minute updates. Make sure they've signed up for transportation if they want to take the bus to school, and they're ready to go.
Yeah, and as a parent, I'll say like nutrition and getting to school on time,
Exactly,
right?
exactly. We always say we've had a successful first day if every kid gets lunch and every kid gets on the bus on the way home.
Do you have any theme for the new school year?
Yeah, we are really honing in this year on our sense of belonging, and we're implementing something called CREW. And CREW is the mindset that we are all in this together, and that together we can make more happen than we ever thought possible.
I like it. We're all in the boat together.
Yes.
All right. Hey, Dr. Maggie Ferman, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much. Happy to be here.
Brand new this half hour, we're getting you ready for back to school. Looking ahead, Buncombe County Schools heads back next Monday, the 26th, right?
That's exactly right.
And we have the pleasure of being here with Dr. Rob Jackson, Superintendent of Buncombe County Schools. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Hey, let me ask you, you're introducing some new technology that's kind of interesting this year. What are we talking about?
So we're really excited for parents. We're introducing the Edgelog app. So essentially an app they can put on their smartphone to track the school bus. So they know exactly when the bus is going to arrive at their driveway or at the bus stop.
So if there's a delay, you don't have to send out your kid way early, or you may want to know when they're going to get back home, right?
Exactly. If it's raining, if we have winter weather, you know when it's time to send them to the bus stop so our students aren't out in inclement weather longer than they have to be.
Really neat. Love that. Well, when you put your student on the bus or your kid on the bus, you want to make sure they're prepared. Any hints for parents as you send your kid off for the first day of school?
Absolutely. One, the most important thing a parent can do is ensure that children have a good night's sleep, that they've had a good meal, and if not, one of the things we're excited about this year is again offering free breakfast and lunch for all of our students so we can make sure that's taken care of at school, but making sure they're just ready for the day. And that sleep is so very important. It's huge.
Well, you and I have both been teachers, so we know this. Nutrition and sleep have everything to do with how well they perform.
No question at all. If our students, in fact, we refer to food as the most important school supply.
Wow.
Students need to be well fed, well rested, because then they bring them their best selves to the instructional opportunities.
Yeah, they're awake and focused,
That's
right?
exactly right. We hope.
That's what you want, right? Hey, when you pack off your child, you may send them off with a cell phone, you know, because you want to be in touch with your child.
That's right.
But what's the policy on that?
So we're working hard to understand the appropriate use of cell phones in our schools. Our policy says that students should have their cell phones turned off and put away. And we've reviewed our policies with our team this year to make sure we're following our own policies. This school year, our Board of Education will be looking at our cell phone policy to determine if we need to go further with that, because there's been a lot of conversation in the community about the appropriateness of cell phones in schools.
Right, you don't want a student to abuse that privilege,
Exactly.
if you will, having a phone with them.
That's exactly right. And you know, the cell phone can be, especially through some of the social media, something that really negatively impacts a student's mental health and well-being. If they get caught in that endless hole of social media and some of the online bullying, all the things that could happen. And so we want to be sure that we're helping our students be prepared to use that technology appropriately.
Well, it's good to know that you're on top of it. Hey, on a bigger picture issue here, Buncombe County Schools, Asheville City Schools, the possibility of a merger here, what does that mean for Buncombe County Schools? How are you looking at that?
Well, the General Assembly asked us to study consolidation, and so we're doing that right now. And coming up, we have opportunities for members of the community to come in and share their voice. The most important thing to me and our Board of Education is that everyone who would like to share their thoughts on consolidation of our two amazing school systems has that opportunity. If the school systems consolidate in the future, we're going to work hard to protect the beautiful culture and traditions of Asheville City Schools and the beautiful culture and tradition of Buncombe County Schools and bring the best of both together.
Okay, so you're not seeing it as a plus or a minus?
We're not at all, right? Because we know great people are doing everything they can for students in both systems. At this point, the General Assembly is asked to study, should the two systems be one? And regardless of the outcome, we know great educators are going to continue to do good things for families.
Do you expect we're going to know in the near future, this school year, say?
Sure. We have to report to the General Assembly in February of this year. And so in February, they'll receive the report and the recommendations from both boards of education, and then the General Assembly will act in its own time.
All right.
And I don't know what that means.
Right, but that'll be big news when it happens.
Sure, absolutely.
Lastly, do you have a theme for the school year?
Absolutely. Our theme this year is Together We Rise. We recognize that we are stronger together.
Okay.
And to that theme, yesterday we had the opportunity for what we think was the first time in the school system's history, which goes back to the late 1800s, to bring together all of our staff members, over 3,200 of us, in one place, in one accord, getting ready for what we believe will be our finest year ever.
Together, you're meaning faculty, staff, students, parents?
Community, faith-based partners, our business partners, all the people it takes to come around our students and our families to make sure they're ready for a great year.
Well, anyone who's ever been a parent knows, I know it's cliche, but it does take a village.
It does, absolutely.
What do you got here?
Hey, we are excited to share with you our convocation shirt. We
Love
have
it.
coffee cups. We've got some lunch bags. We want to make sure our friends at WLOS are ready for the year as well.
Well, and the bottom line here is if you've got a student in Buckingham County schools, you know, celebrate the schools, right?
Absolutely.
Get your swag, carry it, enjoy. First day of school, Monday, August 26th. Back to school resources. You can find what you need at WLOS.com. And I just want to thank you once again, Dr.
Thank
Jackson.
you, my friend. I
Thanks
appreciate
for being
it.
with us.